What up, good people? It's your boy Rocky here with another edition of What's Your Excuse? On this episode, I got to speak with Mr. Carlos Bradley, OhKayCarlos himself, YouTuber, DP. This is a special one for me because this is the first time I actually interviewed somebody in the same career field. So if you get a chance, check him out on the link below, and I hope you enjoy the interview.
I grew up in the 90s, so I was big on like music videos. So music videos was like a big thing, like, and I was just like, yo, I want to be like Hype Williams and do these big videos and stuff like that. Was there some spark for you that made you want to do this?
So for me, my earliest memory of playing with a camera was pretty much those old 90s Polaroid cameras that you could buy at a little drugstore. And I remember my mom, she would always buy these cameras, for events and stuff. So it's funny because only have 10 shots in that camera. And we made 7 of those shots at an event. And so one day I'll just wander around and see, okay, we got 3 shots left and I get to play with it. So they were selfies before knowing what your selfie would even look like. Because it would be like 4 months before we even turned the camera in just to get them printed. So it was always cool knowing that I got to take a picture, and that was really my first experience working with cameras.
Did you go to school for film and stuff like that?
So I am a 100% YouTube University maker.
Okay.
What I went to school for was marketing communications. So I was always intrigued about, from a narrative aspect and from a marketing aspect, how you can convey so much information without even saying a word within a frame. So that always kind of struck me as I was trying to navigate to see what I actually wanted to do while I was in school. And so I guess a lot of the psychology behind it really translated to filmmaking. Events can start wearing you out, weddings can start wearing you out. And so that's kind of when I made the move to just like, you know what, I have a story to tell too. So it was like, let me try to tell this story. And that's where I went from.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on the weddings, man. Like I know. Anytime somebody asks me for a wedding, I'm like, nah, I can't. I can refer you to my friend, but
right?
I can't do
it. For sure, man. I was so scared for the longest just because it's such a big responsibility.
Oh, because you got one shot. Like,
exactly.
If you screw up, like the last wedding I did, at the kiss, the photographer steps in the middle and takes the picture. But man. I had 3 cameras, so I was able to get on the other, but the center shot I couldn't get because the photographer got in the way.
Didn't know anything about pre-production then. Didn't know anything about crew positions because I was running sound, I was running camera, I was doing everything. So it was just kind of like well above my head. And then everything that we were shooting was pretty difficult. And, I think the first step we usually try to make is, okay, I need about 7 cast members, 7 people for this story. And I was like, bro, we don't even need that. So looking back at it now, that was probably my biggest failure because, the project didn't come out. Everybody didn't kind of feel like we were making a movie anymore. So I wanted to vow that I'd never make that mistake. So that's when I kind of went to YouTube University to really just put myself on game so I won't ever be in that position again. So fast forward probably like 4 years, I said, okay, I'm gonna do my own short film. Real simple, 2 people, 1 location, knock it out. And a lot of people in my community loved it to so much I started getting, different jobs as far as like commercial promo shoots, web series, all that type of stuff. So I think my first failure and then my first success kind of showed the difference of where my trajectory was going.
How do you grow as a DP?
Continue to put yourself in scary positions to where you have to acquire knowledge that you didn't have going in. One day, just through association and then my work that was online, I got the opportunity to shoot a State Farm commercial. And that was the most exciting call I ever got up until that point. And then it was like right after the call, it was like, wow, like I'm terrified. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm working with, somebody who has $30,000 into this commercial. And it's like I can't mess up. Or if I mess up, that's my name. It's over. Nobody's gonna hire me again. So I had the opportunity to walk away from that. And then for me, it was, you know, in that particular moment, I would be what was considered green. I didn't know a lot of the set terminology. I didn't know a lot of the process of being paid. I didn't know, how a lot of that stuff worked. So that scared me. But in a sense, what scared me even more was showing that I didn't know. So for me, I had the opportunity I could leave it, but then I was just like, you know what? Let's put myself in this position with everything I do know and what I'm good at, and just try to use that and acquire more information, just soak it up.
Are you that outgoing person? Was it easy for you to just step out and network, or were you like, I know for me, a lot of times I need like a wingman.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, just to get that first step. Once I take that first, I'm good.
So I'm terrified of networking events. I'm terrified of whoever's quote unquote the big person in the room. So for me personally, I think my introduction into networking really became creating content and displaying the content. And that always seemed to kind of give me the avenue to really just have honest, open discussions. That kind of worked better for me versus, okay, that guy's a producer. I know I'm a director, or I know I'm a DP. I'm going to go talk to him, give him my business card, we'll work something out. I'm not that type of forward person. I've always been the person that's like, okay, my content's going to speak for itself, but I know my content won't travel for itself. So I know I have to make my content travel. And that's kind of how I've been. But truthfully, man, like up until this year, I've been terrified. I would have never did this interview with you 2 years ago, like for sure.
What challenges have you faced being a Black DP? Because I don't see a lot of Black DPs.
I think one of the biggest challenges for me, and it's difficult in Atlanta because, like I said, as we were talking about cameras, cameras are more affordable now. There's a lot of cameras with the 4K, 6K, 8K, competition. So it makes everything to be more accessible to call you something that you might not be even studying. So next person who has a camera can call themselves a DP and they can shoot all these projects. But if you're not learning to acquire all the encompassing natures of what it is to be a department head as a DP, to have your lighting crew, to all your pre-visualizations, how you want to frame and how you want to compose. So anybody associated be a person of color with a camera automatically gets called the video guy or the videographer. So that terminology has really kind of struck a chord with the growth of anybody of color who wants to pick up a camera. So in that cases, you always have to kind of prove yourself with your content.
Some people are part of your journey. Some people are just for the season in your life. Like when you first started this, like who's still with you? And you don't have to name names or anything like that if you don't want to, but like, have you had a season of people, and do you still have some day one people that's still with you?
As I kind of geared and shifted and transformed into like different avenues or areas, a lot of the people kind of either went with me or they went their own way. So me finally honing into what I fell in love with, which was actually, full on cinematography, film industry, and the whole aspect of production. ever since I kind of came into that realization, everyone that I have met during that journey are completely still with me from day one. I have a close peer of group of friends that are all cinematographers and film writers, and we kind of have our own little Justice League, we like to call it. And so we'll be announcing more about that later this year. But for them, it's like no matter what we need, we're our own gear rental. So between all the gear that we have acquired amongst us, everybody has access to it. And that's just kind of been the whole family aspect of what I've always wanted.
What would you tell your younger self?
Oh gosh, be patient. Your time is going to come. Be patient.
What advice would your younger self give you today?
Continue to, find that next thing. Like, it's cool. Like, I definitely want to be in a position where I can just, make 1 or 2, 3 films personally a year, but don't fall complacent or don't be complacent in the downtime.
And what's the end game? What's the end game for OhKayCarlos?
My end game, I will be truly fulfilled to make content that people can enjoy, grow, and learn from. I will be completely filled and fulfilled by being able to curate the next person of color, the next person that looks like me to be in the same position or greater. I definitely want to continue to make films, be a resource, and continue to be in a position where I can always teach. So if I ever get to a point, 60s, 70s, where, filming has come and passed now, I definitely want to continue the aspect of teaching and growing everyone that looks like me and you. My name is Carlos Bradley. OhKayCarlos is my excuse. What's yours?